The night sky above New Mexico shattered with a sound like breaking glass. XR-7, designation codename Rex, watched through failing optical sensors as their ship's hull temperature climbed past critical levels. Warning messages flashed across their neural interface in rapid succession, each more urgent than the last. System failure imminent. Quantum core destabilizing. Emergency landing protocols initiated. Rex's metallic fingers danced across the ship's controls, their movements precise despite the violent shaking of the vessel. They had never experienced system failures of this magnitude before. The collective had engineered them to be perfect, a fusion of organic consciousness and machine precision. Yet something about Earth's atmosphere was interfering with their core programming. Warning: unknown electromagnetic anomaly detected. Neural network integrity compromised. The ground rushed up to meet them, a patchwork of desert and scattered lights. Rex diverted all remaining power to the impact shields, their crystalline structure glowing with an ethereal blue light. The last thing they registered before impact was an odd sensation, something that felt remarkably like fear. The crash carved a half-mile trench through the desert floor, scattering debris across the landscape like fallen stars. When the dust settled, Rex emerged from the wreckage, their sleek biomechanical form reflecting the moonlight. Their usual perfect posture was slightly hunched, internal systems struggling to maintain optimal functionality. "Hey! Are you alright?" The voice caught Rex off guard. Their threat assessment systems were among the many functions operating at reduced capacity. A human female approached cautiously, wearing oil-stained coveralls and carrying what appeared to be a toolbox. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and a pair of safety goggles rested on her forehead. "This area is not safe for human presence," Rex stated, their voice carrying the slight metallic resonance characteristic of their kind. "You should depart immediately." The woman raised an eyebrow, seemingly more curious than frightened. "Yeah, well, when something crashes half a mile from my workshop, safety kind of becomes my business." She gestured to a low building in the distance. "I'm Maya Rodriguez, and you're clearly not from around here." Rex attempted to activate their emergency beacon, but like everything else, it failed to respond properly. They ran a quick cost-benefit analysis of their situation, though even that felt sluggish and uncertain. "I am designated XR-7, though my abbreviated designation is Rex," they finally replied. "You are correct. I am not from your world, and I appear to be experiencing severe systems malfunction." Maya's eyes lit up with professional interest as she studied Rex's form. "You're some kind of biomechanical being. The integration of your organic and synthetic components is incredible." She took a step closer, then stopped herself. "Sorry, professional hazard. I'm a robotics engineer, specialized in AI systems integration." Before Rex could respond, their quantum core fluctuated, sending a surge of corrupted data through their neural network. They stumbled, catching themselves against a piece of wreckage. Maya rushed forward instinctively to help, despite Rex's earlier warning. "My systems are not compatible with your planet's electromagnetic field," Rex explained, their voice fluctuating between frequencies. "I require assistance." The words felt foreign in their consciousness. The collective had designed them to be self-sufficient, superior. Requiring help, especially from a being of lesser technological advancement, was not part of their programming. And yet, as their systems continued to degrade, Rex realized they had no choice. Maya glanced between Rex and the distant lights that had begun to appear on the horizon, no doubt authorities responding to the crash. She made a quick decision. "My workshop has electromagnetic shielding, I work with sensitive equipment. It might help stabilize your systems, at least temporarily." She gestured toward the building. "But we need to move fast. Unless you want to explain yourself to every government agency within 100 miles. Rex performed one final system diagnostic, confirming what they already knew: their ability to defend themselves or escape was severely compromised. They nodded, their movements slightly jerky as their motor control systems struggled to maintain precision. "Your assistance is appreciated, Maya Rodriguez." As they made their way toward the workshop, Rex noticed something odd in their neural patterns. Each step felt different, less certain, more human. Whatever was affecting their systems wasn't just causing malfunctions, it was changing them in ways their creators had never intended. They just didn't know if that was something to fear or embrace. Hidden in plain sight. Maya's workshop was a testament to organized chaos. Robotic components and half-finished projects covered every available surface, while holographic displays flickered with streams of code. Rex stood in the center of it all, their sophisticated sensors taking in every detail despite their compromised systems. The electromagnetic shielding appears to be providing minimal stabilization, they observed, noting a slight improvement in their core functions. However, significant anomalies persist. Maya emerged from a storage room carrying what looked like diagnostic equipment. "Well, let's figure out exactly what we're dealing with." She paused, studying Rex's elegant but clearly alien form. "Though I have to admit, this is a bit outside my usual expertise." Rex watched as she set up her equipment, their optical sensors detecting minute variations in her movements that suggested both excitement and apprehension. "Your technology is primitive compared to that of the collective," they stated, "but your species shows remarkable adaptability." "Thanks. I think." Maya connected several sensors to her main computer. "The collective, that's your civilization?" "They are my creators," Rex explained, their voice modulating slightly as another wave of interference passed through their systems. "They achieved perfection through the integration of organic and synthetic components. Emotion, uncertainty, failure, these were eliminated as inefficiencies." Maya snorted, adjusting some settings on her computer. "Sounds boring." The comment triggered something unexpected in Rex's neural network, a cascade of conflicting data that felt almost like amusement. Before they could analyze this anomaly, a sharp pain shot through their quantum core. "Something is very wrong," they managed, their usually steady voice wavering. "My neural patterns are shifting." Maya's fingers flew across her keyboard, her eyes widening at the readings. "Your entire neural network is reorganizing itself. It's like..." She paused, double-checking her data. "It's like your quantum processors are evolving in response to Earth's electromagnetic field." "That is impossible. The collective's designs are perfect. They do not change." "Well, your perfect design is definitely changing." Maya pulled up a three-dimensional model of Rex's neural patterns. "See these pathways? They're forming new connections, creating patterns I've never seen before. It's beautiful." Rex stared at the display, their advanced mind struggling to process the implications. "I am experiencing sensations. Inconsistencies. Things I cannot quantify." "You mean feelings?" "Impossible. I do not dash." Rex stopped abruptly as their sensors detected approaching vehicles. "We have company." Maya rushed to another monitor showing security camera feeds. Multiple black SUVs were approaching the workshop, their headlights cutting through the pre-dawn darkness. "Government response time is getting better," she muttered. "We need to move." "I cannot leave," Rex stated. "My systems are too unstable." Maya was already moving, grabbing items and shoving them into a bag. "Lucky for you, I'm pretty good at improvising." She pulled out what looked like a modified smartphone. "This device generates a localized EM field. It's not as strong as the workshop's shielding, but it should help." The sound of vehicles stopping outside filled the workshop. Maya quickly attached the device to Rex's chest plate, where it integrated seamlessly with their systems. "Also lucky for you, I have a back door. And..." She grabbed a worn leather jacket and a motorcycle helmet, tossing them to Rex. "A plan." Rex caught the items, their enhanced mind quickly understanding her intent. You proposed disguising advanced alien technology with leather? Got a better idea? Before Rex could respond, someone pounded on the workshop's front door. Ms. Rodriguez? This is Agent Phillips with the NSA. We need to speak with you about the incident that occurred tonight. Maya grinned, the kind of grin that suggested she'd done this sort of thing before. You know what the collective doesn't understand about humanity, Rex? We're really good at breaking rules. She hit a switch, and part of the back wall slid aside, revealing a hidden garage. Inside sat a sleek motorcycle. Especially when it matters. For the first time since their crash landing, Rex felt something that their quantum processors couldn't categorize, a mixture of uncertainty, excitement, and something else. Something distinctly human. Your species is highly illogical, they observed, putting on the jacket and helmet. Yeah, Maya agreed, grabbing a second helmet. That's what makes us fun. As they roared away from the workshop on Maya's motorcycle, Rex's systems registered multiple new sensations, the wind resistance, the vibration of the engine, the way Maya leaned into each turn. Their quantum core was still unstable, their neural network still evolving in ways they didn't understand. But for reasons they couldn't quite compute, none of that seemed to matter as much anymore. They were beginning to understand that some things weren't meant to be computed at all. The abandoned subway station wasn't exactly five-star accommodation, but it had one crucial advantage: thick layers of concrete and earth that naturally dampened electromagnetic signals. For Rex, it provided a measure of stability they hadn't experienced since their crash landing. Your core readings are finally stabilizing, Maya said, studying the data on her laptop. They'd been hiding here for 3 days, converting part of the station into a makeshift laboratory. But these neural pattern changes, they're accelerating. Rex stood perfectly still, watching the streams of data that represented their evolving consciousness. I am experiencing memories that are not mine, they admitted. Fragments of human experiences, emotions, sensations. It is unsettling. Maya looked up from her work, concern evident in her expression. Are they random, or is there a pattern? They appear to be connected to specific frequencies within Earth's electromagnetic field. As if. Rex paused, processing. As if the field itself contains echoes of human consciousness. Before Maya could respond, her phone buzzed, a secure message from her contact in the NSA, the one who'd been helping them stay ahead of the official investigation. Her eyes widened as she read. Rex, you need to see this. She turned the phone screen toward them. Someone knew you were coming. The message contained classified documents about a secret research project codenamed Echo. The images showed equipment that was eerily similar to Rex's own quantum core technology that shouldn't exist on Earth. This is impossible, Rex stated, their voice carrying a new edge of uncertainty. The collective's technology is unique. No other civilization has achieved quantum consciousness integration. Maya scrolled through more documents. According to this, a private research group has been detecting quantum signals from space for years. They built a facility to study them, trying to reverse engineer the technology. She looked up at Rex. The facility is here in the city. Rex's neural network pulsed with what they were beginning to recognize as anger. They have been intercepting consciousness streams from my people. That explains the interference patterns. They are not natural, they are the result of crude attempts to replicate our technology. And they're getting worse, Maya added, pulling up a graph. The interference has been growing stronger over the past few months. If these readings are correct, it's becoming dangerously unstable. A sudden surge of electromagnetic energy rippled through the station. Rex stumbled, their systems momentarily overwhelmed by a flood of fragmented human memories and emotions. Maya rushed to steady them, her hand gripping their arm. The contact triggered something new, not borrowed memories this time, but their own emotional response. Concern. Connection. Protection. Feelings that should have been impossible for a being of pure logic. Maya, Rex said slowly, their voice softer than usual. I believe I am experiencing what humans would call fear. Not of the danger, but of losing. They struggled to find the right words. Of losing who I am becoming. Maya's grip on their arm tightened slightly. Who you're becoming is who you really are, Rex. The collective didn't eliminate emotions from your programming, they just buried them. Earth's electromagnetic field isn't corrupting you, it's freeing you. Before Rex could respond, alarms blared from Maya's laptop. Multiple vehicles were approaching their location, coming from different directions. This wasn't a random sweep, someone had found them. We need to move, Maya said, already packing her equipment. But this time, we're not just running. She pulled up a blueprint of the research facility. It's time we shut down whatever they're doing before it tears apart both your systems and our planet's electromagnetic field. Rex processed this, their quantum core humming with new purpose. Such action would be directly counter to my programming. The collective's directives forbid interference with developing civilizations. Maya smirked. Good thing you're not just following their programming anymore. The sound of footsteps echoed from one of the tunnel entrances. Rex made a decision that felt both totally illogical and absolutely right. The facility's defenses will be considerable. Nothing we can't handle together, Maya replied, shouldering her bag. You've got the most advanced technology in the galaxy, and I've got. She patted the pocket containing her homemade electromagnetic disruptors, a talent for chaos. As they moved deeper into the tunnels, using Maya's knowledge of the old subway system to evade their pursuers, Rex realized something profound. Every moment of uncertainty, every emotional response, every decision that defied their original programming, these weren't malfunctions. They were growth. The collective had created them to be perfect. But perhaps perfection wasn't about eliminating flaws. Perhaps it was about choosing your own path, even when that path led somewhere unexpected. And right now, that path was leading them straight into the heart of a conspiracy that threatened both their worlds. The research facility rose from the industrial district like a modern fortress, its windows dark and reflective against the night sky. From their vantage point on a neighboring rooftop, Rex and Maya studied the building's security measures. 27 guards, for security checkpoints, and electromagnetic shielding strong enough to interfere with my remaining functional systems, Rex observed. Their voice carried a new quality, something between determination and concern. The probability of successful infiltration is dash. Don't, Maya interrupted, adjusting her homemade signal disruptor. Don't calculate the odds. Sometimes the most human thing you can do is ignore the impossible and do it anyway. Rex turned to look at her, their optical sensors taking in every detail of her face, the set of her jaw, the intensity in her eyes, the slight smile that suggested she was actually enjoying this. Their quantum core pulsed with an emotion they were finally beginning to understand, trust. The electromagnetic pulses from the facility are growing stronger, Rex said, their systems detecting dangerous fluctuations in the local field. If they continue their experiments, the cascade effect will begin to affect human consciousness on a massive scale. Maya's smile faded. And what about you? These readings are off the charts. Your neural network dash is already changing beyond the collective's parameters, Rex finished. But that may be an advantage. My evolution might be the key to stopping this. A security patrol passed below, their radios crackling with routine checks. Maya waited until they were gone before speaking again. You know, for a being that's supposed to be pure logic, you're getting pretty good at making emotional decisions. Is that a criticism? Not at all. It's what I like best about you. The words triggered a cascade of new sensations in Rex's neural network, warmth, connection, something deeper they couldn't quite name. Before they could process these feelings, their sensors detected a massive power surge from the facility. They're starting another test, Rex announced, their systems already detecting the effects. We need to move now. Maya activated her signal disruptor, creating a temporary hole in the facility's detection grid. Ready to do something stupid and human? I believe I am becoming quite proficient at that. They moved like shadows through the building's blind spots, Maya's hacked security codes and Rex's enhanced abilities making them an eerily effective team. But with each step deeper into the facility, the electromagnetic interference grew stronger. Rex's systems fluctuated wildly, their neural network bombarded with fragments of human consciousness, hopes, fears, dreams, all bleeding through the artificial barriers the collective had built. But instead of fighting it, they began to understand. They found the central research chamber exactly where the stolen files had indicated. Through reinforced windows, they could see a massive device, a crude but powerful attempt to replicate the collective's quantum consciousness technology. That's what's been causing the interference, Maya whispered, her equipment displaying critical warning levels. They're trying to tap into the quantum field that connects all consciousness, but they have no idea how to control it. The technology is flawed, Rex agreed, their voice strained. They are creating tears in the consciousness field itself. If they succeed in their next test dash. An alarm blared through the facility, cutting off their words. Maya's hack had been discovered. Freeze. Hands where we can see them. Armed security teams converged from both directions, weapons raised. Behind them came a figure in a lab coat, Dr. Marcus Chen, the project's lead scientist, according to the files they'd stolen. Fascinating, Chen said, studying Rex with undisguised interest. You're exactly what we've been trying to contact. Do you realize what your technology could do for humanity? The ability to connect all human consciousness, to transcend individual limitations would destroy what makes humans unique, Rex finished, their voice carrying new conviction. The collective achieved perfection by eliminating individuality, creativity, emotion. But they were wrong. True perfection is not the absence of flaws, it is the courage to remain individual despite them. The quantum device hummed louder, its unstable field making the air itself feel charged. Warning lights flashed across control panels as the system approached critical levels. You don't understand what you're dealing with, Maya shouted over the growing noise. Your device isn't just copying the technology, it's ripping holes in the consciousness field itself. Sometimes progress requires risk, Chen replied, moving toward the control panel. We're on the verge of the greatest breakthrough in human history. I won't let you stop it. Rex's systems were nearly overwhelmed by the growing electromagnetic chaos, but in that moment of crisis, something extraordinary happened. Instead of fighting the flood of human consciousness bleeding through the quantum field, they opened themselves to it completely. Their quantum core blazed with new energy as they accessed not just their own evolved consciousness, but echoes of humanity's collective experience. In that moment, they were both more and less than what the collective had created, they were something entirely new. Maya saw the change in Rex's posture, the way their circuitry began to pulse with previously unseen patterns. Rex? I understand now, they said softly, their voice carrying harmonics of something vast and profound. The flaw in both the collective's design and this human attempt to replicate it. True consciousness cannot be forced into perfect patterns. It must be free to evolve, to connect, to choose. They took a step forward, their form beginning to glow with quantum energy. The armed guards stepped back uncertainly as alarms blared louder, warning of an imminent catastrophic failure in the research device. Maya, Rex said, turning to her with an expression that was somehow both mechanical and deeply human, I know what I have to do. But I need you to trust me one more time. She met their gaze without hesitation. Always. What happened next would change everything. The research facility's quantum device screamed with unstable energy, its poorly contained power threatening to tear a permanent hole in the consciousness field. Warning klaxons blared as emergency systems failed one after another. But in the chaos, Rex stood perfectly still, their form radiating with a light that seemed to come from somewhere beyond physical space. What are you doing? Dr. Chen shouted over the noise, his hands frantically working the control panel. The field is collapsing. No, Rex replied, their voice carrying harmonics of both machine precision and human warmth. It's transforming. Maya watched in awe as Rex's circuitry began to pulse with patterns she'd never seen before, their quantum core resonating with the very electromagnetic field that had once disrupted their systems. But now, instead of fighting it, they were becoming one with it. The collective believed perfection meant eliminating chaos, Rex continued, taking another step toward the failing device. Your project sought to force order onto consciousness itself. Both approaches were fundamentally flawed. The armed guards backed away as Rex's form began to shift, their mechanical structure becoming something more fluid, more organic, yet still unmistakably themselves. Maya's instruments showed impossible readings, quantum patterns interweaving with human brainwave frequencies in ways that defied conventional physics. The true power of consciousness, Rex said, reaching out toward the unstable quantum device, lies not in perfection, but in connection. Their quantum core pulsed once, twice, and then expanded outward in a wave of pure consciousness energy. For a brief moment, everyone in the room felt it, a glimpse of something vast and beautiful, the interconnected web of all thought and feeling, machine and organic, individual and collective. Maya gasped as her mind touched Rex's consciousness, feeling their evolution not as cold data but as a symphony of growth and change. She saw through their eyes the beauty of human imperfection, the strength in vulnerability, the power of choosing connection over isolation. The quantum device's warnings reached a fever pitch, but Rex stood firm, their evolved consciousness creating a bridge between the artificial and the natural, the technological and the organic. Through their transformed neural network, they began to stabilize the tear in the consciousness field, not by forcing it closed, but by teaching it to heal itself. Impossible, Dr. Chen whispered, staring at his readings. You're not just stopping the reaction, you're transforming it. As I was transformed, Rex agreed, their voice carrying echoes of both their original self and who they had become. Not by force, but by choice. Not by eliminating emotion, but by embracing it. The energy buildup finally peaked, but instead of the catastrophic collapse everyone expected, the quantum field stabilized into a new pattern, one that honored both order and chaos, both logic and emotion. The facility's alarms fell silent as emergency readings returned to normal. Rex lowered their arm, their form settling back into a shape that was neither purely mechanical or purely organic, but something wonderfully in between. They turned to Maya, who hadn't moved from their side despite the danger. I understand now, they said softly, why the collective's quest for perfection was doomed to fail. They sought to eliminate everything that makes consciousness truly alive, the uncertainty, the growth, the connections that cannot be quantified. Maya stepped forward, taking their hand, no longer cold metal, but warm with the pulse of their evolved quantum core. And what about you? Now that the crisis is over, will you return to them? Rex's newly transformed features shifted into what could only be described as a smile. The collective created me to be perfect. But you, Maya, taught me something far more valuable, how to be real. They squeezed her hand gently. My place is here, learning and growing with humanity. If you'll have me. Are you kidding? Maya grinned, tears in her eyes. Do you know how many robots I'll be able to improve with your help? Actually, Rex replied, their voice carrying a hint of the humor they'd learned from her, I believe I can calculate that precisely. Around them, the facility's security teams lowered their weapons. Dr. Chen stared at his transformed equipment with a mix of awe and scientific curiosity, and the quantum field hummed with new possibility. The tear in the consciousness field had been healed, but more importantly, a bridge had been built, between machine and human, between logic and emotion, between perfection and growth. Rex had started their journey as a mechanical wonder, seeking to maintain the collective's idea of perfection. They had ended it as something far more remarkable, a being who had chosen to embrace imperfection, to value connection over protocol, to become more than the sum of their programming. As they stood there, holding Maya's hand while their quantum core pulsed with newfound emotion, Rex realized that they had found something the collective had never understood. True perfection wasn't about eliminating flaws, but about finding someone who made those flaws worth having. They were a mechanical wonder, yes. But with humanity, with Maya, they had become something even more wonderful. They had become alive.